When we think about innovation, obviously I need to say AI. I don't want to dwell too much because we're going to talk a lot about AI during the course of the last couple of days. But obviously the absolute pervasive growth and adoption of AI and large language models and the jump that we've seen in the last sort of 12 to 18 months and the jumps that we're going to continually see has obviously caused quite a chaotic, potentially, disruption to the organizational landscape. And there are all sorts of challenges with that. And they're well documented. I think the thing that I look at that's quite key is how it squeezes the continuum. So how it processes things much more powerfully, much more quickly, but also it brings things about, if it's about an individual, much more into a much more closer, much more intimate decision making. It has a potential to do that, and I think that's a very interesting thing to sort of look at, particularly as an ethicist, as to kind of what the impacts of that is and what the moral debates that we need to have over and above obviously the regulatory packages that we see developed. I'm also interested to look at how we can adopt AI as an agent for humanity. So how we can actually start to look at potential personal agents, so over and above the virtual assistant capabilities that we have today. So how do I actually empower this stuff to empower me? Obviously, I'm interested to see what GPT-5 looks like. There is someone from OpenAI, but I haven't found them yet. So if you're out there, they're definitely here. I'll hunt you down, don't worry. No, I'm interested just to see, because there's all sorts of things being said about potential AGI capability, or is it just an extensively, very powerful LLM? That translation from the unstructured to structured data, I'm really interested to see what happens, because I think that could be very empowering and also quite interesting. I'll have to leave it at that. Other things, and I'm going to talk about some indirect stuff now, actually. So I'm just going to bulk a load of sort of what I call infrastructural things, really, that enable processing, but 5G, edge computing, space-based internet, so Elon and all the things he's sticking up in the sky, cloud computing. All of these things are enhancing our ability to process and giving us greater capacity to process. In an age where we need greater data sharing, we need more data to open up those innovative spaces, we need greater, more accurate data to actually feed the machines that consume quite a lot. Actually being able to provide that real time without the latency and to provide that accessibility, particularly to a cottage in Wales. My children will be very appreciative of that, because that's the first complaint, because that's the first fundamental right of anyone under the age of 20 now is where's data, over and above water, I think. It's actually how those things get powered. Those innovations, I think, are key just to keep a watch on over the next couple of years, and I'm really interested in those. And primarily because they, as I said, they enable data sharing. There was a really useful privacy-enhancing technology discussion yesterday, and we touched on fully homomorphic encryption. Being able to run a fully homomorphic encryption, if you don't know, it's a cryptographic. It sort of blocks out chunks and de-identifies information. Am I causing feedback? I'll try to speak louder. Sorry. Fully homomorphic encryption is a consumptive technology. It's a consumptive capability. So having the sort of processing boost to be able to run that real time is incredibly exciting when we talk about the shortening of the continuum. So it enables that speeding up of the process to enable us to potentially put privacy protected but enriched information into the pots for sharing so that we can enable these innovations, that we can start to maybe drive, again, this tooling to support us as an agent. So I'm interested in those things. Those are things that I'm definitely looking at. I'm going to talk a little bit, well, actually, I have a passion. I've got to declare a passion now. The internet, not the internet, the web. The internet's over 50, right? The web, so the connection of data is 35 years old this year. Which is quite staggering in the journey we've come in those 35 years, particularly in a space like this. I'm old enough to remember finishing my academic study and having to grab a thing called a book from a library, and getting there and actually finding that the 4 copies were already out, so filling out an index card with a Dewey system number and leaving it there, finding the book at Tony's house, sat under the sofa and thinking, he's not going to miss that. I don't think he's going to pass anyway. I'll take it. You know, those are the things that we had to do, right? That's how valuable this stuff was. And now it's, you know, it's open, it's democratized. It's a fantastic thing. And it's been 35 years since that code was released by Sir Tim Berners-Lee. Tim's has a side project around the evolution, not a side project, a passion. Sorry, he would hate me calling it that. A passion for Web 3.0. Now, I have to be careful with that tagging because it gets construed with the crypto monetization stuff. But the evolution of the web to a more, and again, I'm going to use another tag that's difficult, but decentralization / democratization. There are numerous things that are happening in that space that are really quite interesting. One is Solid. Has anyone heard of Solid? No? So Solid, socially linked data, works as a semantic protocol, really, for a semantic web. So it's about evolving the data landscape so the data is actually connected. The output of that really provides personal online data stores. So the intention is it gives individuals control and actual agency in their data, the key data that they care about, rather than it being in the control of others. Okay? So it enables individuals to actually decide how they want to share that. Now, it's an interesting concept, and Solid's been around, it's come out of MIT over the last decade. It almost feels like it's a solution looking for a problem. I think it might found some of the things it needs to address, particularly with AI, because who better to be the master of data than the actual individual? So actually, I care much more about the things that matter to me that I'd like an AI to look at and actually, you know, use for decision-making for me. I actually care about that more than anyone. And when I talk to, and I lecture to, you know, cohorts, and we do a conversation on privacy, it's quite mixed. It's quite a mix. It's about a 60-40 split on those that really think it's worthwhile caring about and those that, well, we've given up, Geoff, who cares, you know? We're never going to change anything. What they generally actually articulate is, and I mean, obviously there's fatigue around, you know, notices and, you know, the whole, you know, consent bannering. What they articulate generally is we want agency in this, we want control, we want to be able to update things once, and past that, we want to actually create exchanged value, and which are all the things that I intuitively look at GDPR and think, well, that's kind of the purpose and the principle and the framework of what was trying to be created here. It just may be that companies have got to sort of almost a defensible position to try and, you know, demonstrate and posture. But actually what I hear is that we really want some control. We really want some agency back. So Solid is an interesting concept that may support that.